hear a joke?
I do.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
God, want to see me laugh?
Sure.
Watch me read the Harvard Business Review.
Good one.
So, mis amigos, the Chicago Daily News goes gently into the good night.
Did you just quote Dylan Thomas?
Yeah.
Such is the curse of service.
Did you just quote Shakespeare?
Yeah.
I want to do the Mary Tyler Moore thing.
Sure.
Well, Emma and Sam, my two ace reporters, yesterday, Saturday afternoon, March 4th, 1978. After 102 years of constant publishing for our devoted afternoon readers, our beloved Chicago Daily News runs for the final time. Now, it is very early Sunday morning, while darkness hovers over our souls. We are here in the Old Town Ale House, getting drunk on yesterday. Allow me, your chief editor, to recall how all of it started for me. I grew up in Covington, Kentucky, where my father works at the plant, where my mother is a clerk at the bank. We don't have books in our house. But when I'm 6 years old, I read the Kentucky Post. My desire to read fuels my desire to write. I graduate from high school, a rarity in my family, and soon the Post hires me to proofread copy. Just after I turned 1932, one afternoon the Chicago Daily News sends a telegram to the Post. The telegram says, one boy on our payroll hates Chicago. He's from Kentucky. He wants to go home. We need one cub to cover our south side. A few hours later, I'm on a train bound for Chicago. December the 1st, 1958, Chicago, Avers and Iowa streets. Fire lights up a school. It burns 100 little boys and girls to death. I rush to the scene. The smell makes me vomit. I barge into the first telephone booth I can find, where I call city desk. I try to recite my story as I cry all over my notes. "5 years ago, the day I bury Sparky, my wife. After the burial, some people tell me, at least you were married 30 years. I know they mean well, but still I feel like telling them, if you would take a moment to consider how short life is, you would know 30 years is nothing. I go home alone after the burial. I get undressed. I step into my shower. I twist the faucet. I duck under the shower head. Water pours over my face and neck, and I cry nonstop for several minutes. I have not cried since that day. Probably. I will never cry again. Emma, Sam, my two ace reporters. You must be thinking, push me into the Chicago River before I hear one more word from this bombastic bore, possessed by his maudlin, morbid, mundane memories.
We miss Sparky.
Yeah, and we respect you.
Thanks. Jane Byrne, the City of Chicago Consumer Commissioner. She believes the Honorable Michael Bolandic, the Mayor of Chicago, tried to manage all the Chicago taxicab companies for personal profit. Illinois State Senator Howard Washington believes the state government is cheating poor public schools in Chicago. Think about all the fun we will miss here. Our newspaper, the Chicago Daily News, won the Pulitzer Prize 15 times. Can you imagine Marlon Brando winning the Oscar 15 times? Whatever will happen in Chicago, our newspaper, the Chicago Daily News, will always be sacred. Lots of great stories out there, but somebody besides us will have to report them. Norman Mailer once wrote, "Taken one by one, it is true, reporters tend to be hard-headed, objective, and unimaginative. Their intelligence is sound but unexceptional." Well, Mr. Mailer, go fake yourself.
Chief Editor, would you like another Peelson?
You buying?
I got 1, 2, or 3 of nothing.
I got 4 + 1 of nothing.
All right. Let's just sit and wait quietly for tomorrow, when sunrise wakes over the lake, when the brave new world shows its face to make deadlines and dead ends come alive.
Ladies and gentlemen, I know what you're thinking, and I just want to put your minds at ease. I am not going to ask you for any money. I have nothing to sell. I didn't come out here to talk about God, although I'm clear God is with me anyway. I'm also not here to talk about politics or anything controversial. I genuinely, believe it or not, came out here to give you a gift. My gift is my encouragement through these words that at some point today, you take some action, great or small, that is consistent with whatever your personal dream happens to be.
Scene 1. About 5 p.m. Evening rush hour. Tuesday, May 26th, 1981. Chicago. Letitia and John sit next to one another aboard one crowded Chicago Transit Authority public bus rolling south out of the loop. Letitia is dressed like a normal clerk. John is dressed like a wealthy executive. For different reasons, both sense a vague attraction toward one another. John speaks first.
Hello,
Hello,
my name is John.
Letitia.
Good day at the office?
It was busy. Lots to do since we got the day off yesterday.
Yesterday. It was Monday, Memorial Day.
How was your day?
Nothing special.
The first work day after a holiday, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Hey, did you hear about the guy who climbed the Sears Tower yesterday?
Yeah,
Daniel Goodwin. He dressed like Spiderman. Climbs to the top of the Sears Tower with his hands holding nothing but suction cups.
that's brave,
Crazy, too.
I suppose.
I'm not brave. Everywhere I go, I'm afraid I'm going to get mugged.
Welcome to my world.
What do you mean?
A woman like me, traveling back and forth from work, alone most of the time, I'm prone to feel a little paranoid. So I keep a pepper spray bottle in my purse.
You going home?
Of course.
Where?
South Ewing Avenue.
I'm fairly new to Chicago. I'm looking for somewhere to stay, closer to my work.
Where do you work?
The Sears Tower. I'm an executive for Dream Team Athletics. We sell young adult sporting accessories and clothing.
How would you like to visit our place this evening?
I don't want to impose.
Come over. Have dinner with us. We'll watch TV. You'll like the South Side.
Who else lives with you?
My father, he's a former Marine. He is cool as a rule.
Well, thanks, but right now I'm on my way to Wrigley Field.
Excuse me?
I have 2 tickets to see the Cubs play tonight. Would you like to accompany me?
No.
Why not?
This bus is rolling south. If you're going to Wrigley Field, you better go north. And besides, the Cubs never play at night.
Okay, you got me. My name is not John. I don't have any name. I'm a figment of your imagination. Ever since your mother died, you dream one day you'll meet somebody during one of your dreary bus rides, somebody who looks like Elvis. Your father never served day 1 in the armed forces. You haven't seen him for weeks. During your lunch hour, you read romance novels like Come Back to Love by Joyce Dingwell. For the most part, you live alone.
Tu cabron.
Sometimes your wayward brother, Daniel, visits. Usually he brings an Irish girlfriend you don't like. All 3 of you eat dinner together, watch TV. When you get bored, you retire to your bedroom. Before you sleep, you turn on your radio. You listen to classical music so you don't hear Daniel and his Irish girlfriend make noise. When you wake in the morning, Daniel and his Irish girlfriend are gone. But Daniel does leave one $10 bill on top of the TV. During your free time, you walk through the park. You watch birds. You go home. You watch more TV. When the Chicago White Sox play, you Listen to Harry Carey call the shots on WBBM radio. You work at City Hall for a politician with clout, but you have never seen the inside of the Chicago theater.
Get lost.
Here's my stop. See you later, Letitia.
Hope not.
John exits. Letitia holds her head up. She stares straight into space, careful to make sure she does not weep in public.
Scene 2. 6 months later, about 7 a.m. Morning rush hour. Thursday, November 12th, 1981, Chicago. Aboard one Chicago Transit Authority bus as it rolls north towards City Hall.
Frank stares listlessly into space. He is dressed much like a working-class nobody. His shoes are beaten, no laces. He wears a Chicago White Sox baseball cap. Yet, he is closer to 55 than 21 years old.
Letitia enters. She sits diffidently next to Frank. She is still dressed like a normal clerk. Frank speaks boisterously.
You know, Daniel Goodwin, that guy, the skyscraper climber, he thinks he is Spiderman. 6 months ago, he climbs to the top of the Sears Tower. Yesterday, he climbs to the top of the John Hancock Center. Mayor Byrne, the police, the fire department, nobody could stop him.
He must be crazy.
Hey, that boy ain't no faker, no slug. Brass ass. His blood must run on atomic blast fuel. His lead jock strap filled with 2 bold titanium balls. Gold nuggets below his pocket rocket. Just after he climbs to the top of the Hancock. I wonder if he had to take whiz.
Do you always talk like that in public?
Oh, I'm from the 10th Ward. It can't be helped.
I'm from the 10th Ward too.
Where?
South Ewing Avenue.
I live on Avenue O. Some citizens call it Avenue Zero. Do you know Eddie?
Alderman Verdoliak?
Yeah.
I clerk for him in City Hall.
Whoa, Fast Eddie. People love him or they hate him.
He is a nice man.
Speaking of City Hall, I'm going there now for a job interview.
Good luck.
Hey, I have not worked steady anywhere since Wisconsin Steel closed. Yeah, I did work weeks in Calumet City at a motel, but the owner hires his son and he lets me go. And I worked months at the Jewel Deli, but lots of times some things are not meant to be.
What kind of work are you applying for today?
Interior maintenance. Say, what time do you get off work?
Who wants to know?
Oh, I am Francis Burke. Call me Frank.
Irish?
I plead guilty.
My brother Daniel is going out with an Irish chick.
Well, that is good news, I'm sure.
I'm not sure.
Now, let's stay on topic. When do you get off work?
Are you for real?
Definitely, I am real.
You're not my imagination.
I am Frank Burke. And you are, I didn't catch your name.
Letitia Perez.
Letitia, today you'll probably finish work at 5. Meet me 5:30 p.m. in Giordano's, around the corner from City Hall, for dinner, on me.
Don't bet your shoes on it.
Well, that is not exactly yes, but it is not really no either.
Here's my stop.
Quickly, Letitia rises from her seat. She heads for the exit to step off at City Hall near LaSalle Street. Frank yells at Letitia before she leaves.
Hey, don't forget, 5:30, Giordano's.
Letitia doesn't reply, nor does she look back at Frank as she disembarks from the bus among several other passengers. Scene 3. Later the same day, about 5:45 p.m., the Giordano's dining room. Frank sits alone in a chair at a small table. There is another chair at the table. It is empty. Frank drums his fingers lightly on the table. He checks his wristwatch. He talks to himself.
Well, I gave it my best shot. You can't win them all. Plenty more fish in the sea. That is what some people say who have never seen Lake Michigan.
Letitia enters, dressed as before, except now she wears a baseball hat with the Chicago White Sox insignia. Frank sees her. He rises. He smiles. He is delighted.
What's up?
You hungry?
Yeah.
Good. Please sit down. You have come to the right place. Winner, winner. It's no chicken dinner, but it is the best pizza in Chicago.
Imagine that.
Very courteously, Frank holds the empty chair for Letitia. She sits demurely in the chair. Frank passes a menu to her. She begins to read the menu thoughtfully. Frank sits easily in his chair.
Chicago, I love you. As your river flows, I know your city sees eternal dares greater than God. Your people dream, sense pride, feel the real, always alive. Their faces seek the next street beyond infernal bleak. Some strong new place where bread thrives, their boat rows to the pier of prosperity. Your people inhale the blessed breath of glory. Their teams sneer at death. Chicago, let no beat of their hearts choke nor fail nor die of decay. Make all their broken bones heal, welcome consideration. Unleash care, commiseration. As your people roam Wherever let the cries out of their heads, out of their drunken sighs, pry open closed space. Let soul songs resound within sober homes. Make all your city roll fearless. Shape its share of fairness. For the lonely who cringe behind glares or tears, walled by invisible fences, Chicago, as your people stare colorblind into eternity, let your people peer until they spy forever what is their daily work.
To paraphrase, Gwendolyn Brooks, the Chicago poet, we be cool.